Greetings from Cybertron. This is SoundJack here with a review of the Transformers Power of the Primes Punch-Counterpunch with Prima Prime. Yeah, that's what it's called on the packaging, Prima Prime, even though it should just be Prima. But whatever. Yes, the final Deluxe exclusive from Amazon representing the three eras of the Prime Wars trilogy has been out for a while. I apologize in the delay of this review, but I am finally getting to it, and I can't wait to talk about this figure. But before we get into the figure, let us talk about the box. Let's raise the camera up a little bit for the box. It's the same type of box as was for the other two figures from the line for both Blastoff and Repugnus. Well, not line, but like grouping. Yeah, whatever. So you see both Punch and Counterpunch robot modes on the front. The half Autobot, half Decepticon symbol, Punch Counterpunch. H is 8 and up Hasbro, Transformers Generations, Transformers Prime Wars Trilogy, Power of the Primes, half red, half purple, Autobot Decepticon, Power of the Primes, and the Prime Master characters on the side, Authentic Transformers, the back of the box with the steps and the bio and all that nice stock photography, warnings and words, important words at the bottom. And then on the inside you have Choose Your Prime. The Autobots and Decepticons use Prime Masters to wield the incredible powers of the most legendary bots in the universe, the Primes. Prime Masters carry the spark of a Prime, allowing them to share a Prime's godlike ability with other bots. And then you can see where they were stored in the box, and they're part of the Primes there. Prima Prime and his logo there. And then you also have the side art of the box with three Punch, and then the Autobot clones Fastlane and Cloudraker. Sorry for the focus. And then here are the other two boxes, so you can see what that completed artwork looks like, and that is pretty neat. But that is all to say about the box. I guess boxes is what I should say. So now let's take a look at the figures, and we'll just start off with Prima Prime, as he is a Prime Master that I've talked about before if you've seen my Throne of the Primes review, because it's basically the same figure except with a bunch of clear plastic, just like Megatronus with Blastoff and Solus Prime with Repugnus, though he also has a bunch of silver paint over to make him look more whole. As you can see, clear plastic all the way through. The symbol is the same as is on the Prime figure. Let me correct that here, just so as you can see. Same detailing, same details on the back. Again, just different colors and mostly translucent. So for articulation, his head can rotate a full 360 degrees. His arm can bend out that far and tilts out a little bit to the side. Legs bend that far forward, that far back. Knees that far back, that far forward. And you just transform him by collapsing him in half. And there he is in his Spark mode, which is compatible with Punch-Counterpunch. I remember hearing before thinking that this figure, it's not going to have a Prime Armor piece. Well, it does have a Prime Armor piece. And you can take the gun, this gun or the Prime Armor cover, pull that out, stick Prime in there, and then attach this to the vehicle mode. But I'll get to that more when we get to the accessories. But that is Prima Prime, and I'll just stick him off to the side for now. And now we can get into the main event, which is Punch-Counterpunch, who, yes, as the box suggests, does have both Autobot and Decepticon robot forms, which is amazing. But we are starting out in his car mode, his shared car mode, as they are not two separate vehicle modes for the alternate mode for Punch and Counterpunch. It's a very, very nice car. Gives me like a very, very high sporty car. Some vague thinking, mental imagery of like a spy car. I think like James Bond's, which makes sense because he is in fact a spy. Very nice blue throughout most of it. You got clear windows all the way around, ends up showing a lot of stuff on the inside, the small chest, cockpit roof window area for the Decepticon form. If the lights will let you see that, but yeah, you can see inside a bit, though, except the back windows. The back windows are just painted in silver, and you got some nice hood details there, nice door details on the side, a little bit of silver right there for that bit. You got black wheels with red rims, red painted rims, which is a very interesting choice. But the front is very nice with clear plastic headlights and some nice black and silver paint to pick out the bumper details. And then on the back, you also have red tail lights to picking up the paint there. And again, nice details all around. And then the underside, you just see Punch's chest and head. You have to have the Autobot symbol up because of the transformation. So if the Decepticons ever bother to look underneath Counterpunch's car mode, they'd know he's a spy. But what are you going to do? While he does have 4 rolling wheels, unfortunately, due to the clearance underneath, he does not roll smoothly across the ground, which is really unfortunate. When I first tried it with the surface, I thought it was the surface, but then I tried it with other surfaces, and it only worked on like rough surfaces like sheets or carpets. And just to show, this is the G1 punch, and he is rolling perfectly smooth. So unfortunately, he does not roll smoothly, though. That might be because there's a fault with my copy that makes it not fit together properly, and I'll get to that when I get to robot mode, one of the robot modes, probably Punch's robot mode, because that's the easiest to notice it on. There's just an error that seems to be substantially impacting it, though granted, whether there is a problem impacting it or not, it is very much a low riding vehicle, so it's entirely possible that is just the fault of the mold. I haven't heard anyone complain about it, so let me know if yours does not roll smoothly at all. Also interesting, he's got bigger wheels in the back and then smaller wheels in the front. It's very neat. Besides that, he does have a 5mm post on top that does allow for attachment of accessories like the Prime armor that I mentioned before. Just plugs in on top like so. Or his gun that is included with him, which is orange, indicating this is supposed to be Punch's gun. Unfortunately, leaving Counterpunch technically weaponless, though I use the Prime armor as his gun since Counterpunch's gun was a double-barrel blaster, and these vents up front could be the double-barrel blaster. So that's what I tend to do, but I'll show that off when we get to robot mode. But yeah, you can stick Punch's gun in the roof right there. Very nice. Very nice detail on it, for sure. And then, as well as for Prime Master and Tractor D, since he's a part of the Prime's character, you can get, there are 2 Prime Master ports on the back that fit at the bottom Prime Master, or Tie-In Master's feet, I should say. And you can stick them in, and you can have them standing on the back of the car. Though, if it was a real car, they would fall off very easily once the car started rolling. But anywho, yeah, that's pretty much all there's to say on the car mode. So let's get into some vehicle mode size comparisons. Here he is with Titan's Return, Legends Class Bumblebee, and Deluxe Class Chrome Dome, Voyager Class Megatron, and Leader Class Six Shot, Generation 1, Punch-Counterpunch in vehicle mode, and his 2 Wave mates, Blast Off and Repugnance, and their alternate modes. So now let's get him onto his robot mode, and we will start off with the Punch robot mode, as that is the primary form typically for Punch-Counterpunch, and the one he is packaged in. So to start off, what you're going to do is you're going to basically split the car mode in half, like so, and like so. And I just untabbed him. There's tabs in the front of the windshields go into slots there, right in front of the fake windshield. Whoops, sorry for that. And then other tabs and slots that hold the rest of the roof together. This is particularly tight on mine, and I have done the shoulder swap, the hinge swap, and I'll talk about that in robot mode in a bit. It's a little tighter on mine, but again, there is another problem that I'll get to also in a moment. But from here, after opening half the vehicle, you just straighten out the legs, which bend like so. You'll come to the side. You'll fold this bit in, and then fold that bit up. And repeat that on the other side. Fold that bit in, flip that bit up, and then you collapse, and split the legs. And there you have the legs all done for both robot modes. But we're going to punch, so we continue on, towards punch. So what we're going to do is we're going to come up front, split those bits from this middle bit right here, and lift this entire section up. And then we're going to fold this down like so, fold that in like so, and then close that section back up, and we'll just leave that bit down for the time being. We'll come to the side. We will untab his arms. There's a tab here that goes into a slot there, and then shift the shoulders down like so. Quick note, if you do the way Punch-Counterpunch has been packaged, these shoulder hinges are upside down. So and it's easy enough to fix. You can do this yourself. I will show this off at the beginning of the transformation review. But doing the fix will prevent the shoulders from going any higher than that, and putting this at an appropriate level to tab in correctly. There's been debate about whether that's correct or not. But it feels very intended, and I recommend making that adjustment. Anyway, shift the shoulders down, and then you'll just, there's a locking mechanism inside the front of the car that ends up being shoulder pads for him in both modes. And it's locked for vehicle mode. You unlock that, and there is a rectangular tab that looks like it should fit into that rectangular hole right there. Unfortunately, it does not fit, but I do still like just putting it over that just to have a rough approximation of where it should go. Do the same on the other side. Untab, shift the shoulder down, move that into a position of your choosing. I will leave it like so. And if you flip the face down, you flip the helmet up, and there you have Punch in his robot mode. And he is very, very nice looking. Like that's what you expect out of an update G1 character. Unfortunately, the shoulder pad, the front sections of the car don't fold the same way as the G1 Punch does, and I'll show that off in the size comparison. But it's what you can do with how the toy is engineered. You wouldn't get that in the way. You wouldn't get it like that unless you severely limited the arm articulation. But taking a closer look at him, he has some very nice colors going on. He's got a lot of bright orange on the chest with a nice Autobot symbol on the chest, and some details right below that, which surprised me because I'll just show that off really quick right here. Those details don't exist on G1 Punch's chest. I just want to know where they came from. There's not even space for them. But a lot of the other details are there in very similar ways. It's just that kind of comes out of nowhere, unless that's animation model accurate. But anywho, you got orange shoulders for him. You got blue lower arms and red hands, accurate to the original toy. You got some nice black thighs with silver and red detailing on there. And then the lower legs, which are just the back half of the car, which I've already shown off. There's no feet that flip out, so he just kind of stands on the front half of the car, but other Transformers do that too, so that is not a problem. And then, of course, you have the shoulders, which are the majority of the front end of the car. Oh, and I never looked at his head sculpt. His head sculpt is quite nice with the details accurate to toy. The horns, the helmet, orange side guards, silver faceplate, and very hard to see, but especially with the lighting, but he's got some nice light blue eyes going on there, which looks very, very good. And then for articulation, his head can rotate a full 360 degrees, and there's a little bit of wiggle waggle, allowing side to side and up and down as well. And the helmet itself obviously rotates, but that's for transformation. Shoulders are able to rotate a full 360 degrees. Not able to bend out too far, just because of the shoulder bits getting in the way, but you're able to shift the shoulders up on that hinge to get the arms to go more straight out. Just leaving it down here, you're going to get limited no matter what, unless you really rotate them out of the way. But even then, there's going to be some level of hindrance for punch mode. There's a bicep swivel allowing 360 degrees of rotation, an elbow bend going 90 degrees at the elbow. There's no rotation at the fist because of of what needs to happen for counterpunch to differentiate punch more from counterpunch. But there is a waist swivel allowing 360 degrees of rotation. Knee bend that allows him to bend that far forward and that far back and bend that far out, as well as a knee bend that allows him to bend his knees at a 90-degree angle, and as well as that way at a 90-degree angle, but that's also for counterpunches articulation. No feet means there's no feet articulation, no ankle pivot or what have you. So yeah, that's it all for the articulation. And then as for the accessories, he can hold his gun in his hand like so. I prefer featuring him as a righty and counterpunch as a lefty. Now I've seen people comment that punch is the lefty and counterpunch is the righty, but it's all up to you. And then as well, since there's a 5mm port on the back open because this panel is down, you can stick that on the back like so. And then you also have the Prime Master armor, which has the 5mm post, as well as this. That also has a 5mm post, so you can stick those in his hands as well. But to go with how the other Power of the Primes figures go, you can flip his chest panel down and stick this into his chest piece right there, and then have a Prime Master go into the gap there. That fits Prime Masters, Time Masters, Matrix Cores, and Enigmas of Combination, or various Enigmas. And yeah, and then this doesn't store as well as on the back purely because I mean, you can get it, but it's going to be at an angle because of shoulders being the way they are. But it does fit. And yeah, you got some variety of what to do. But talking about the problems with this figure, or at least with my copy, like I said, these shoulders I have modified them so that they are upside down from the way they were sent to me. Some people say this is a necessary adjustment to make his vehicle mode fit correctly, and that was the intended way. Others say it works fine without doing it, though they have noted, though most people I've seen have noted that it is a better fit at the very least. And when I did the transformation, in the transformation video, when I showed off how to fix it, I said that it was necessary for the vehicle mode to work. But now that I look over this figure, I think it's not necessary. And from what I've heard other people say, it's never been necessary. The reason why it was necessary for me is because if you look at the shoulders, you can see on this shoulder, this bit and this bit are flush. They're smooth together. However, on this shoulder, you can see there is a noticeable gap in between those two pieces. So I think that should not be intended. I don't know how that came to be, but it is concerning. I don't want to mess with it. And since there are at the moment, Amazon's waiting for restock, I'm going to have to deal with it. It's still, again, the shoulder fix has substantially improved that. Improved getting it to car mode, but still tricky. And this shoulder bit always doesn't like it going into vehicle mode at the very least. I can work it with robot modes, both robot modes. It's the vehicle mode that gets me concerned with how that is. Someone let me know if other people have this problem. I have not heard anyone talking about that. So I think this might be a thing unique or to mine or very, very rare. So I don't know how I did that, but that is Punch in his robot mode. So now let's get into some robot mode size comparisons. Here he is next to Legends Class Bumblebee and Deluxe Class Chrome Dome, Voyager Class Megatron and Leader Class Six Shot, G1 Punch, his wave mates Blast Off and Repugnus, and the channel's mascots Soundwave and Wheeljack. So that's all there is to say on Punch's robot mode. So now let's take a look at Counterpunch's robot mode. So first thing I'm going to do is flip down the Autobot symbol, because you can't have an Autobot symbol on your back and be hiding amongst the Decepticons. And then you're going to take the hands, you're going to push them through these panels and flip them around and have the blue fists out and close them back up. Repeat on the other side, flip hands around, close the panel back up. Then you come to the shoulders and you're going to move them from their original position. And you are going to orient them into this position, and you are going to push them down, and they are going to lock over the stuff that allows them to move around, and put them at an angled position, whatever the way you want, and then just bend the forearm so it's facing the right way. Do the same on the other side. Move that around, rotate, collapse, bend the arm forward, and then all you have to do is flip up the Decepticon symbol and flip the helmet so you can see Counterpunch's eyes. And there you have Counterpunch in his robot form. And he also looks really, really good. Like really, really good. Like really, really good. Lighting seems to be a little weird from where I'm looking, so I'm hoping the lighting is fine for all you watching. But taking a look at Counterpunch, he's got a very nice face. Black helmet the same. Details are different on this side. A little hard to tell again with the lighting, but he's got some dark red eyes going on there. Face is mostly blue. He's got a bit of silver on the chin. To me, it feels like that should have covered like the whole mouth area, but that might be accurate, but this might be accurate to the animation model. It just feels weird. But it's like only his lower lip and then below that, even though there's a bit of a gap for above the lip as well, which feels very weird to me just looking at his face. But it's still fine. It's just like, why did they not paint like that whole gap, like that whole section of his mouth silver around the mouth with that blue face plate covering the rest of the silver face? I don't know. Anywho, then you got his car seating area chest with the clear windows, nice blue elsewhere, Decepticon symbol as well. You got nice blue crotch, blue arms all the way through with the orange shoulders being covered up by the shoulder pads, which are the car front halves you've seen already. He's got different fists for this form, nice blue fists going on, though it looks like they're painted blue and they were molded in the orange plastic by looking at the insides of his fists a bit. And then you got black thighs and then the lower legs with some purple detailing and black bits indicating feet, even though those don't really stick out far enough to be considered proper feet. There's a hair. They're a hair out from the rest of the leg. But anyway, his articulation is pretty much the same as Punch's. Head rotates 360 degrees. Elbows rotate 360 degrees. Arms bend out that far, a little further than Punch can, but you can lift them up to get further, though the shoulders get in the way of his face in this form. 360 degree bicep swivel. 90-degree bend at the elbow. No wrist articulation. 360-degree waist. Legs bend that far forward, that far back, and go that far out. He has a knee bend, and he has a reverse knee bend because of Punch's form, and he has no foot articulation because he doesn't have a proper foot. And pretty much everything that applies to Punch with the accessories applies to Counterpunch. What buttons can go on the fist can be stored on the back. You can hold the prime armor in his fist or flip down the chest panel and stick that there, even though this is not as nice fit as Punch's for some reason. There you go. Again, not as doesn't the post doesn't want to go in as nicely as on Punch's side, but it still does go in. And that's all there is to say on Counterpunch. So let's get into some Counterpunch robot mode size comparisons. Here he is with Legends class Bumblebee and Deluxe class Chrome Dome, Voyager class Megatron and Leader class Six Shot, G1 Counterpunch, his wave mates Blastoff and Repugnus, and of course the channel's mascots Soundwave and Wheeljack. So yeah, overall, Punch-Counterpunch is an incredibly nice figure. Quite a surprise that it's a new toy, it's a new mold, new tooling all around. Unlike Blastoff, which was a re-release, and Repugnus, which actually was a heavy retool, this seems to be an entirely new mold. No other connection to any other toys so far. Excuse me. No other connection to any other toys so far. And I'm curious who he's going to be turned into, if he's going to be turned into anyone else. There's a lot of suggestions as to who he could be. With the shoulders in this configuration, it seems like he could very well be Point Blank, one of the Autobot target masters. And also there's been a bit of speculation that he could also be a Drift Deadlock toy. But I do hope to see this mold again. I think this is an incredibly awesome mold. Unfortunate for me with the one shoulder that seems to be hurting this toy a lot more than other toys. Other copies of this toy, I should say. But overall, still a great figure. If you have the opportunity, you should definitely pick this guy up. And that is all I have to say. So thank you for watching. If you enjoyed, please like and share this video and subscribe to the channel. You can also follow me on Twitter and Instagram at SoundJack426. Also, please consider donating on my Patreon page to help support the channel. All of the links will be in the description below. Thanks for tuning in. This is SoundJack signing off.